Somebody was nice to me. Look at this. They brought me a drum for rubbish bin. So that's cool. I just have to cut the lid off it. But that'll be handy. Somebody using those stupid little frickin' things over there. I'll keep that for like scrap metal and stuff. But just burnable shit, I'll put in here. So when they do a burn off for just rubbish with cardboard boxes and shit, and take that over there and throw it over there. Now I won't put cutting discs and stuff like that, but I'll just put, you know, sandpaper and crap and whatever else in there, and bits of steel in here and whatever else. Just try and keep it so it's reasonable. You can see that they've cut all the long grass in here again, ready for another lot, but I'll have to wait for a few days, I'd say. It's pissing down with rain. Right, I'll get clean this stuff up. I've got these a wipe down, and have a decent look at these and make sure I have see if there's any bits I've missed or whatever, or see if I can see anything that pokes up at me. Little marks and stuff that you sort of can't see when it's wet so easy. See if there's anything that sort of pokes out at me. But these are almost ready, I think, and just one more coat just to obviously pull this sort of stuff back in again, so it's covered up before we paint or whatever, or whether I really probably should give them that first couple of coats with the chassis black, which is basically the same painting anyway, just it's semi-gloss, not gloss, and that'll give me a bit of a base, and then I can wet sand that back and I can really see what it looks like. And then if we do, and then probably paint over top of that type sort of thing, you know, maybe a quick coat of primer and then paint over top of that. But anyway, we'll give these a clean up. I might give them a wipe down with prep just to get rid of the shit off them. Once I give them a bit of a wipe down and blow down, to get the shit off them, I'll do the same with that and that, and then I can really see what they just check for marks, mainly marks and imperfections, or any spot that hasn't been sanded properly, and then I'll do this stuff and that, yeah, and carry on. Right, so that's it out of the timber pattern that was in here, so I need to obviously suss this out a little bit, but I'm guessing that would have went in there like that, but in behind this would have slipped obviously in behind part of that and then went up. I was actually trying to figure out why these are cut away, but I know now, they're braces. It's funny how something's not obvious every time. So yeah, I've got to at some point make these bits of wood. That's just been made out of ply at some stage, so I'll just make it out of ply again. I've got probably enough pieces around here that I'm using as bits of workbenches and whatever. There's actually some good sheets over there I could probably use anyway, but looks like it's about the same sort of thickness, so that'll work for that. So yeah, that's something else to do at some point. Righty guys, I think I've said this tip before, say yeah, because I'm probably, once I get these fenders finished cleaning up, bits and pieces, I'm thinking about respraying at least the front fenders and maybe the hood tops with just one sort of coat of primer. I'll probably do the back ones at the same time, you know what I mean, once I get them blocked out, hopefully before the end of today, so I can at least get some, all that chassis black on those front fenders at least, and see how I'm feeling with the back ones. I probably might do the back ones too. I'll just give them 2 light coats of black, which won't be today, but I want to at least get some primer back on. Now I've had these tips sitting in this reducer for a few days because I noticed the last time I used this one, I was having a few problems with it. The fan wasn't right, and I had a good look through it, and I noticed that the little holes and around the centre were a bit blocked, sort of partially blocked up. Now, gas tips for your gas welding, or just cleaning out any sort of tips, get yourself a set of these. To be honest, I don't know what set this is, no clue, but it does have a little bit of info on the back. I'll try and show you if I can. Hopefully you can get that to a point where you can sort of read that. It's got some sizes and bits and pieces on there. Hopefully if I hold that there enough, you guys might have a look. So this very, very smallest one of that will go through the little holes. Come on, focus. Stupid friggin' things. I hate phones. The little fine holes, that the smallest one will go through them. I just find that occasionally they do, you know, even though the paint's not coming out of around that, it's coming out of the centre obviously, but the paint obviously creeps back over top of them and it'll block the odd one up. So I've had them soak in there for a couple of days, and I've just run the smallest one through there, whatever one it is. This one's a little bend in the end of it because I've been trying to poke it through the hole. Yeah, that one. That one there, so you can see it's pretty fine, but it will go through those holes. So get yourself, if you're doing spray painting and you don't have something like that, get yourself a set. The freaking handiest thing in the world. I use these for so many other things apart from just, you know, like, not many people do gas welding now. Still a few, but it's always handy to have a gas plant around, obviously for heat, with a cutting torch or whatever. But or shrinking, like if you're going to be doing body work, you really need one. Like those butane torches and stuff like that are good, but they just don't have the heat of a oxyacetylene plant. Just you can, you know, that shit will melt stuff, where those butane torches will melt it, but it's only thin gauge, whereas that'll just, you know, it'll cut frickin' 2-inch plate if you want it to. You know, it's basically the original plasma cutter, if you know what I mean. They will cut through shit that a plasma cutter will never frickin' cut through, unless it's a huge amperage one, you know. But these are just so frickin' handy for cleaning out all sorts of things. Like I've used these to clean out you know, your washers on your car. You know, if they get a bit of shit blocked in them, poke that down through the hole, blow them out in both directions with a bit of air, and away you go again, sort of type thing. The amount of, you know, the cars that I bought, you know, and you push the old button to, you know, to clean your windscreen or your windshield, whatever you want to call it, you know, and one's not working properly, or it's, you know, freaking dribbling out, you know, get in there with one of those, you know, away it goes again. So yeah, they're really handy for cleaning out, spray gun, air caps, what do you want to frickin' call them, you know, to get that shit out of those little holes that builds up. Because you can sit it and reduce it all you want, but if that stuff's sticking in there, okay, that'll soften it up so you can get it out. But if you just happen to give it a bit of a rinse out, blow it away, and sit it over there, and there's a bit of shit sitting in that hole that you don't see, like if you got a light on, just point it towards it, but not right at the light, but just point it sort of towards it so you can sort of see and make sure that they are clear. Like, that can be the biggest friggin' nightmare ever. You know, like I've said a million times before, if you've got 2-pack mix, you don't have time to screw around to clean this shit out. You've got to have it clean out before, so that's why I'm just checking this out now, because I know the last time I used it, it wasn't spraying the best, and it probably had 1 or 2 holes blocked up, so I had left them sitting in that reducer after I sprayed that body and shit the other day. Is that I sprayed? I can't remember. Whatever I sprayed last, I left it sitting in there just to, well, that was the edge. The edge? I can't remember. It was one of those two, anyway. But yeah, like, it was just a bit of shit, you know, it was the etch, that's what it was. I went to spray the etch and there must have been some shit in one of these and it wouldn't spray properly. So I quickly changed to another gun. But yeah, like if you're spraying 2-pack and you need that gun, you don't want to be sitting there pissing around trying to get frickin' crap out of an air cap. So yeah. So that's another one too. I'll just clean it out. I'll check my other ones out too. I'll pull the other one off and have a good look. So yeah, it's one of those things. These are so freaking handy. I've had these for years and years and years and years. Best thing you can have, hey. I've also got a little file in there too, which can come in handy again. It's just a little fine file, you know, good for cleaning out points or something like that if you have the points card. But, you know, super handy. Anyway, I'll carry on. Righty, something else, I just discovered this one, this spray gun here, which is the blue anodised one. It wasn't spraying properly either. This is when I cleaned the little holes out in the centre. And it still wasn't spraying properly and I couldn't figure it out. I was having a look at those little side holes, not the big one at the front, but the one at the back. So I got my tip cleaners out again, and the one on, well, whatever side it is, I think this side, because of the, you know, the zero at the top, I think it was this side. It was about 3 or 4 holes smaller. I think it was just filled up full of shit. But yeah, the one that I could get in there, the biggest one I could get in there, was, you know, was like floating like a boat in the ocean in that one, if you know what I mean. So I found out which one was which one would fit in it. It was almost the second biggest one on here. So where are we? So not this one, but the next biggest one would fit in that hole, that small hole. But yeah, like I was like halfway back through that light, you know what I mean? Like I was probably, it's a bit awkward trying to do here, but like if come on. If you took away sort of the end two, it would have been the next one fitted in that one. So like it was a big gap difference. I'm about to test it. Just see if it sprays any better with a bit of reducer in the gun. But yeah, what it was doing was it was spraying the pattern out, but it was like, it was drifting back towards me, and I was like, what the heck's going on here? So yeah, I wonder if that was that, because it was just filled up full of paint as well, you know. Obviously the paint sprays out and was filling up that one hole for some reason, and it was slowly closing up, and it wasn't obviously till now that with all these other bits and pieces, I've been actually cleaning up all my guns. I'm actually giving them a real good clean up. I've just cleaned this one up. I cleaned a lot of the, there was a little bit of blue residue left over from spraying Dad's bike tank through it, because that's pretty much the last thing I sort of sprayed through it, and I gave it a reasonably good clean, but I've just actually gone through it and really gone through it and cleaned a lot of shit out of it. Like, there's not much reducer left in there, but that's just like you can see the blue in there from that, you know, and all over the cloth. And I was using brush, and I even cranked out a what we call a split pin or a cotter pin, sort of, and bent the end over just to help scrape any little bits and pieces out of the threads and all sorts of stuff. But anyway, this is off that other anodised one, blue anodised one, so I'll put that back on there and see if it sprays any good now. Righty, so I've actually, I need to spray it before and turn the video on. I thought I'd turn the video on, but I hadn't pushed the record button. And it still wasn't spraying quite properly, so I just had another look at it, and then I realised that the footage wasn't on there. So I'm about to spray it now, but I think it sprays right now. Yeah. Because what it was doing, it was curling back and whipping back. You could just get to see this mist, and it was curling back, and it wasn't spraying properly. But I've got it now. I don't know really what it was. I run the tip cleaner back through the centres and back through those side ones, like all of them, and gave it a good blowout with the air gun with the air cap off, obviously, and gave it a good blowout. And I scraped not that there was much on there, but I just scraped a little bit of crap off around on that little, where that turned brass bit or bronze bit or whatever it is, there where the where the holes are, there was a little bit of crap top and bottom still left there, where there's no holes, but I just scraped that off. So I'm not quite sure what made the difference in the end, but yeah, there was obviously a little bit of crap in there somewhere that was disturbing the right airflow, and yeah, it was changing because you get that fan, but the bottom one wasn't as strong. It was just, you get this little bit of mist just rolling back at you, or if you had the air cap up out the other way, it was coming back up the top, you know, because I've got the 0 on the bottom now. I don't know which way it's meant to be up, doesn't really matter, but yeah, it was like, it was just rolling back a little bit. It just wasn't a nice full fan like this one. Try and get it nice and close so you can see. Yeah, I wasn't doing that before. It was misting up, so at least I know I got that right now. So now I'll carry on wiping out these frickin' panels and see if I can get some hide build on them. Because I was just playing with my spray guns, making sure they're all clean, and discovered a few little issues. Obviously I just hadn't quite cleaned them good enough. You know, and there was slowly a little bit of shit building up in them, and just hadn't got it out, you know, over the last couple of times doing either etch or whatever, you know. But yeah, I've been using this one for etch, so obviously every time I'd been using the etch, it was just slowly building up in the tip, and you know, I thought I'd had it cleaned out, but obviously that one of those side ones or something in there was just, you know, or a combination of the whole lot, you know, it was just slowly creating a problem, and then it started showing up. So anyway, I'll leave that little bit of reducer in there now. There's only a little bit left in there. And that'll just help loosen any other shit that's up in there. Because that frickin' etch is actually a pain in the ass to get out of the frickin' carpet. It will frickin', because it's etch primer, it'll bite into most things. Anyway, I think I'll check for the rest. I'll carry on. See if I can get this shit cleaned up and put some primer on things. Righty guys, so I'm just in the middle of actually spraying another little bit of hide board on these things. Now, on the actual edges, on these outside edges, especially on this one, that one wasn't so bad. It was a bit funny, so I actually heated up this block with the old paper on it, and it had enough glue residue to actually stick a bit of 3M on there. It's just 240, because I wanted to pull it back reasonably quickly, but I blocked that edge out with the 240 until I started touching a bit of steel, you know, in a few places without, you know, as soon as I go, you know, just a little spot, I would sort of stop in that area, but I tried to block it out as quick as I could, and just pull it back to steel in a few spots just to flatten out a little bit. It was a little bit wavy from obviously screwing around with bits and pieces, and I just hadn't blocked it out enough. I could see that once I sort of got it in the right light, and with it being cleaned up and wiped down with prep wipe, I could see it, because the 600 had sort of polished or semi-polished the surface. So it gave me a good opportunity to spot a couple of those little funny imperfections. So with a little piece on there and a piece in my hand, I went around and just touched up knocked back a bit of product off in a few spots to try and improve situations. So I've just, I'm letting these flash off mainly on the inside so I can turn them over, and these flash off so I can obviously get a little bit more on them if I need to. Mainly sort of like the edge and stuff like that. I've sort of given them a couple of coats, these. I wasn't planning on giving them that much, but just with, like Arco says, you keep finding more imperfections and more imperfections. Now, I know at some point you got to stop, but that was a couple of ones that I could really see when it was a bit polished up, and I thought, shit, that's going to stand out. So yeah, I hard blocked it back, and I might even hard block it back again and then just blow that one edge. And again, I might use the little skinny block and maybe put some 400 on there or something with the 3M and just block it back across the top, because they're pretty good, but there's the odd imperfection, and then I might wet and dry it. Just with that little extra product that's on there. I'm just trying to get them really, like, I'm being fussy. I am really being fussy. That edge was probably wasn't being quite so fussy. It was something that would annoy the piss out of me. But I think now it's probably, again, depending on what you're spending on a paint job and doing a restoration, most people would be happy, you know. But there was a few little imperfections that just really stood out to me. But the rest of it's pretty good. I'm pretty happy, but I think I just want to block this top section again with something and just pull it down there a little bit further again, and then wet and dry it, and then if I have to, I'll hit it again with another light coat. I'll just reduce the primer a bit extra and blow a lighter coat on there just to seal it up before, obviously. But I might actually, what I might do, because I've talked about putting this black on it, I might just give these a light rub back, smash a couple of coats of that black on, and then block them out. That might be a better idea. I might pull the imperfections out, but they are really close. But I might just blow another coat over top yet with what's left in the gun. I want to put another coat on the inside. I just want to let them flash a bit, because I poured a couple on these pretty quick too, on the inside, because I want to better block them out. They're a bit liney, and I'm not even going to get rid of it because I haven't body worked the crap out of the inside. I've done a little bit, but I thought the outside's more important than the inside. And you're not really going to see the inside. You are, but you're not, because the other panel will cover a lot of it. When you've got it up anyway, you know, you'd have to hold it up, you know, like that, you know, to really see in there properly, because, you know, they're too hard to sort of fold up. I just want to get it better than it is with another couple of coats, and then give it a good block out with 400 and 600 wet on the inside, just to make it a bit smoother. I'll just let these flash for a few more minutes, and then I'll hit these with another coat on the inside, quickly do them on the outside, and I'll turn these over and just give them probably one I'll get away with, but the other one I'll give one more coat, just a light coat, just to cover up the spots where I've hit steel, because these are ready. It's just a couple little spots in the insides that I wanted to catch again. I didn't worry about doing the reef benders, because I was pissing around with those guns for a bit, trying to get them cleaned up. I'm trying to do this before lunch too, so hopefully when I come back after lunch, then I'll attack the rear ones. And it doesn't matter if I don't get some primer on them today. But yeah, they're getting really, really close. Like really close. Like, to be honest, you could paint them, but I'm just being really fussy because they are going to be black, especially the benders. The blue is going to be, it will show a lot too, but because it's a wee bit brighter, it will hide a little bit. You know, like you're going to see imperfections, but it's not going to stand out as much as what the black will. The black will show everything. But anyway, I'll carry on for these couple more minutes, and then I'll blow them again. Right, how you going, guys? So I've just finished either wet sanding or whatever, anything else that can be wet sanded. Obviously I got those front fenders and the hood tops re-primed, hopefully for the last time. Especially the hood tops definitely will be. They just need a light rub out, and then they can be painted. But what I want to do now is get these last 3 pieces in well, the first lot of body filler anyway. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to mix up some body filler and spread on this front 8-print valance piece, whatever you want to call it, this thing, and then I'll do the side valance as well, at least start them. They're big long things, so I might have to wait till I sort of get some stuff sort of cleaned up and shuffle around, because they're so big. I need to sort of do them in a place that's a bit more friendly for doing that. I don't want to be doing going way down low trying to do them. I want to be still at a decent height, so I might have to have a bit of a clean up before I can do them. But let's see how I can do one. It's one of these little things. So I'll get this done before this wind gets too noisy and the tractors come back around again. They're cleaning up that grass, so I'll get mixing some body filler and spread it on. Righty, so I just put the last that Z Grip Plus on there, which is the yellow stuff I've been using. So this is this normal Z Grip Evercoat. So it's no plus in it. As you can see, it's a completely different colour. So I'm going to mix a batch of that up. So I just scrape the last out of the can and scrape that on there. So I'm going to do the rest of it now, mud that all. And then, yeah, I don't know, see what happens after that. I'm just getting close to 5, so get this mixed up. Wow, that's completely different to what I remember it too. Mind you, it's been a shitload hotter the last few days than what it ever was when I was doing the Jag. So that's actually quite, it felt almost like light and fluffy. When I even pulled it out of the can, it wasn't even close to thick. I just scooped out like, it sort of almost reminded me of the consistency of, like, you know, the old snow freeze ice cream. You know, that you pull the handle on the machine and just, it almost reminded me of that sort of consistency, but hot, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it spread on there quite good. I had a bit left over. Well, I was sort of struggling to have places to put it there, so I just threw a bit in, spread the last bit out in the wheel arch. And here, you know, obviously to help start filling that in as we get the last of this sort of finished off, obviously. Yeah. So that's cool. As I do the bits on the valances too, and I can finish that. No, obviously that'll need another coat in places. We'll try and get those last those pieces done too. But anyway, I think I might bugger off. I could hang around here for a wee bit longer, but might as well just let that go off and come back in the morning and start sanding it off, I guess. And then I can also probably attack these again too. Maybe might sand, just lightly sand those fenders back and spray them black. See, oh no, I'll do. Oh, I don't know. We'll work it out tomorrow. So anyway, guys. This is probably not going to be the end of this video, but anyway, please like, share and subscribe. If you've got this far through this video, make a huge difference, you know, give us a thumbs up. And you know, if you're watching regularly and you haven't subscribed, please do so. It doesn't, like everybody else says, it doesn't cost you a thing. The only thing you got to do is have obviously a profile on YouTube. That's all you need. You know, you just got to set up a profile, which I think most probably people would normally have nowadays that are watching videos on YouTube. You can watch them without a profile, but you know, it makes a huge difference to us guys that are you know, putting regular content out. You know, if we can get to some point where we can make a little bit extra cash out of it, it just makes a huge difference to what we're doing. You know, this is now basically my job. I'm doing the YouTube content as part of it, so that's going to be forthgoing. So anything that I can put back into this to help is hugely appreciated, especially for the guys that are watching regularly. I know there's probably my regular viewers. I would think there's probably a good regular 40 that watch just about every video. You know, it might take them a couple of 3 weeks to watch. You know, obviously we all get busy. Sometimes it takes me 2 or 3 weeks to watch some of these videos. You know, it's just some of those times that just, whether it being a lazy day on a Sunday and it might be wet, so you know, you'll go and catch up on a lot of stuff that you just haven't had a chance to watch. That you know, out of the, I don't know, I'll probably watch a good 10 channels regularly. Sometimes it's not always easy to get to some of them. You know, you get busy and you think, oh yeah, no shit, you know, I've got a chance now. There's 2 or 3 videos that I've been wanting to watch off some of these channels I'll go and watch them. But yeah, so much appreciated if you have got this far. Yeah, please like, share and subscribe and hit that bell if you want to obviously know when the next video is coming out, which is probably every 2 or 3 days for me at the moment. I'm trying to, depending on what I'm doing, obviously, if it's something really interesting and I'm fabricating something, it might be sort of one video of a couple of days work. But with this sort of stuff, it might be spread over 2 or 3, 4 days, depending obviously what I'm doing and how much I chop out of the crap that I make. When I try and throw it together at some point. Anyway, cheers guys, catch you later on. Right, morning guys. So welcome back to NZ Mopar Outlaw Kustoms. Yeah, so plan for today, I'm going to knock the body filler back on that front balance piece, and I want to give this front fenders a very light rub back. I know I only sprayed them, did I spray them yesterday morning? Yeah, sprayed them yesterday morning, didn't I? I think. God, one day blurs the next round here. I want to give them a very light rub back, and I want to spray them that black today with the chassis black. I don't know whatever the percentage of, it's a semi-gloss. It's the same, exactly the same paint as what I'm going to be painting in, but it's low gloss. So I want to paint them that and just see what they look like. I'm going to put 2 coats on it. Hopefully I can mix up the right amount and blow 2 coats on those. And then let them cure them up until probably look like after Christmas Day, like sort of Boxing Day or the day after sort of type thing. And then I'll wet sand them out again with 600. I'm just going to give them a very light scuff today, just to knock that top finish off, just enough, just a little bit of hand sanding with the 600, just rub it off all over, and then spray them the black. But I will knock the body filler off from that other piece first, have a clean up, probably re-skim it, and then I'll set to those other pieces. So when I've sprayed them black, then I can go back to that, and then maybe the side balances. I'll leave the hood tops alone. I'm going to have a good inspection of them, and then just leave them alone. I do need to sand the insides at some point, but that's not panicked. I'm not getting to colour on this yet, so as much as I would have liked to have been mucking around with these other pieces, sort of slowed me down, but it was important. It needed to be done. I probably wouldn't say I was ahead of myself, but there was a few other things that needed to be done. And I've still got to block this out one more time, especially the doors and the cowl area and all that sort of stuff, and obviously pick up any of the marks. It's probably going to be the middle of January before I get that in colour now. I'm close, really close. But yeah, like I sort of turned my attention to some other bits and pieces. So it doesn't matter, A week or two at the end of the day is not going to matter much. And obviously I still need to sort out in the backs of the year. At one of these stages, like in the next day or two before Saturday, which is Christmas Day, and then Boxing Day. I might come down here on Boxing Day, I don't know. We'll see what happens, because Boxing Day is my dad's birthday. So, so yeah, well, at some point I'll get some of that rust converter sealer primer crap in there. Just happened to be handy. They used it on that windmill. I've used this before. This is a good product, but be very careful if you're going to paint over top of it on the exterior of the car. I've used it before years ago, like 2014 or 15 or 16, whatever it was. I was working on a VC Valiant, and I had some on the bottoms of the quarters who had done the repairs, and I used that into into the panel above it. It had a bit of surface rust and stuff on there still, and I found that if I didn't clean it up properly, whatever was on top of it just didn't adhere. It was strange shit. But on the inside of something, I think would be fine, as long as you give it a scuff up, it'd be fine. In there, like, you know, I just used it and then put like texture undercoat and stuff on there, and it seemed to be fine. But just when I was putting body filler and primer and all that sort of shit over top of it, yeah, I learned the hard way, it'd come off. So yeah, be careful. A good product, one of those products that's, you know, probably alright, and something that you know, like a trailer or something like that, or on steel, like some of an inside of a car or a chassis or something, that you can quickly blow that on, and then before it really cures off, then spray something else over top of it, if you know what I mean. Like, I think it's, yeah, probably one of those products, if it was been on there less than sort of an hour or two, and then you sprayed a top coat or something over top of it, be fine. But if you leave it for weeks and then put a product over top of it, yeah, it doesn't work. But anyway, so, because probably what I'll do with that, we need to get some texture undercoat. But yeah, I'll probably spray that on, and put some seam sealer on it, and then spray a texture undercoat on it, all within you know, 2 or 3 hours sort of thing, type of thing. And it should be fine. I think it needs to be green when you're putting the other stuff over top, so it's got a chance to, you know, the chemical reactions have got a chance to bite into each other, instead of, you know, 4 or 5 weeks later type thing, when you're still doing metal work and body work and all that sort of crap, and then you come back around to it and then start putting filling crap over top, and it just falls off when you're halfway through body work. Believe me, I know. Anyway, I'll sand back that front balance, and we'll try and get some colour on these front fenders today. It won't be the final product, obviously, but it's so I can wet sand them back and really see what they look like with the black, because the black will just show me everything, and then I can really see if there's anything else I really need to tart up before we spray the proper black, with that same black but 100% gloss on it. So we'll get into it. I'll stop waffling, I promise. No way. I'll let that go off, and I'll give these fenders a light sand after this shit's gone off from my hands a bit. Should wear gloves, eh? Righty, so I've sanded these back. I'm about to whiten them down with prep so I can spray them with that semi-gloss black. I've obviously re-applied that. I cut the top off that drum, but I'm just putting burnables in it. So anything that'll burn, you know, sandpaper, whatever, so long as it's not, no metal, no grinding discs, basically, or cutting discs or whatever. And I've sorted this crap out. So just grinding discs, and anything that won't burn, that really needs to go to like in a that goes to landfill or whatever here. That can go on that, and any steel stuff, you know, metal shavings, whatever, you know, can go on there. So yeah, I'm basically going to wipe this stuff down and spray this stuff black. Right, so I got the paint on. I've got to play with the consistency of the paint. I've actually got a viscosity cup somewhere. I don't know for sure here at home, but I think I might bring it down when I actually go to paint this thing, because I mixed it 4:1 and I put basically the amount of reducer in it that the cup says, and it was too thick for start off. So yeah, I don't know. So I mixed up a little bit more on the top, just what was left in the gun. I actually poured it on pretty quick there. And used more than I thought we would have, but probably because it was too thick. But I don't know. What am I trying to say here? So yeah, I made up a bit more, and I put quite a bit extra reducer in it to thin it out. Why? It's freaking hot as piss at the moment. I'm sweating, and it laid out quite a bit better the second time. Still not really great, but it's definitely a damn sight better from one of the other. I'll quickly show you. Hold on. There is a bit of crap in the paint, probably because I didn't wipe them down with a tack rag, obviously, but I think they look pretty good. They'll be even better when I paint them with the gloss, and obviously we wet sand them out. But I'm pretty happy with the overall result. Like, just for obviously that we're going to wet sand this out. A few little blemishes that I think should just, they'll wet sand out. And then when we spray the proper paint on there, it'll be fine. But looking at that shit, it doesn't actually look that bad. I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's going to look quite good. As you can see, this one looks a lot, it's really orange peely, because that first layer was shit. That's a bit of a pain, but yeah, it's alright. We're going to wet sand it out. So that's cool. I'm pretty happy, especially with that one. This one looks alright too, but it's not quite so easy to see because it's more orange peely, obviously, because it was too thick. So yeah, I'll just have to play with the viscosity to get it to really spray out flat. Like this isn't, like through here is not bad, but I'd like it flatter than that again. But if I can get it that sort of level, but with the high gloss, and a bit of a wet sand with, 1500 and 2000 and whatever, and then buff it, it'll look freaking shit hot. So that's cool. Right, we'll see you after lunch. Righty, so it should be on hopefully the final full skim of body puller on this. It's come up pretty quick. So this is the third one, but it's just to catch all the bits and pieces that obviously missed. I might have to do a little bit in these corners again. This is sort of the worst spots, and I'm going to do a little bit of work on the insides of where it's been joint. So I'm going to do a little bit of body work in there as well, just so when it's painted on the inside, it hasn't got all the weld marks, basically, just so it hasn't got somewhere extra for water to sit, obviously. Whether we paint texture coat on the inside of here or not, I'm not 100% sure. That's possibly not a bad idea. Maybe, because it will be semi-exposed, kind of, but not really to front wheels and between the chassis rails and the springs. And possibly shit get in there, so maybe like a stone guard type coating that we're going to put up underneath here mightn't be a bad idea in them as well, on the back of that as well, is inside of the rears and the inside of the wheel, inside of here as well. I need to knock this body filler off as well. I started putting some on the other side as well. I need to get that frickin' hose clamp so I can fix my other hose. I also need to put some more in there. I haven't blocked back anything on this body since we primed it. And these should be almost ready for the wet sand, but I'll leave them another day or two, because the blue will be probably over top of that. Whereas these, I wasn't too worried about these. It was just wet sand them out, and we'll sand them out and then spray them black, and they'll, you know, I'll leave these till at least, yeah, like at least after the weekend. Well, today's only Wednesday, so that gives them 4 or 5 days to harden up, you know, after like actual Christmas day's gone. So it'll be like the 27th before I'll wet sand these, and I'll get these hopefully prepped and black in the next, probably tomorrow, Friday, I'll get them black, and obviously we'll get this a bit more further on, and we'll start doing body work on them shortly. I just want to try and get this stuff sort of tidied up before I really start on them. And I've still got to finish that and the sides. I've got to knock that glazing putty off them. So there's still plenty to do, but I'm pretty wrapped for how these come up. I notice there's a couple little blemishes in here which hopefully will just sand out, yeah, with the wet sand. And just the odd, it's a little mark there too. But it's only minor stuff. Like hopefully that'll come out with just the thickness of the paint and, you know, the hide board and whatever else is on there. There'll be a few spots that'll be sanded, you know, fairly heavily, I'm imagining. But at least this will give me a good guide of where we're at, you know. So it's cool, but they do look really good. They look shit hot when that was still wet, or, you know, before it was really dried out. They look really good. This one not quite so much because I frickin' didn't have the paint thickness right, which sort of annoyed me. I wanted it to be a bit flatter, but it doesn't really matter. It's going to be wet sanded, so. But yeah, I'll carry on. This will dry shortly. Yeah, I don't think I need to tell you anything else. We'll come back when we've done some more. Hopefully I might get this sanded off, or at least DA'd. I just scuffed over with the DA before I leave here. It's about 4 o'clock now, so it's going off reasonably quick. Righty, so I'm out of here. I've spent quite a bit of time just going over these again. I've just picked out like some of the little marks. I actually forgot about it. John from John Cho Carpenter, he actually said get a little bit of the high build primer and scrape into it, like mix up a little bit, and then scrape it in. I completely forgot about it until just before. But I mixed up just a little tiny puddle of what do you want to call it, glazing putty. I tried to scrape it, and there's a couple of fine little marks. And a couple of little, obviously little spots or little dints that I've just missed. And I mean just little ones. So I've just filled them and scraped them. I circled the ones that I could see that were the worst. And as I was going around, I just picked up anything else that I could. So I'll just give these a light sand in the morning, and then I might give them a light coat of primer, and then we will paint them black. Probably not tomorrow, but Friday, because I'll just give them a light rub back in like I did those, and then spray them with the black semi-gloss stuff. But God, I'm going to have to figure out a better way to paint these fenders, because they're pigs of things to put on these stands. Real pain in the ass, because I just can't. I need to hang them and like maybe pick up on these holes here so I can get right around them. It's a bit of a pain, because like to paint them like that, I've either got to sit in here like this and try and paint them, which is possible, but it's awkward because then you're down low. Like it'd be nice to have them at a decent level, if you know what I mean. So I could possibly get a ratchet strap and some rope or something like that, and tie it and hang it, and then get some wire and hang them up. But between like these two posts, which is possible. You know, use the ratchet strap to tension the rope, obviously, so I can pull it up nice and taut, but have it so I can pull it down so I'm not freaking hanging myself on it walking underneath it or something silly. So I could do that, but then it doesn't let me give me a lot of room because I've got the front of the car right there, which is a bit of a pain. So yeah, but anyway, I'll work something out. It doesn't really worry me quite so much with primer, but it's the, you know, that final coat is just going to be really piggy. I'm going to have to work out some way of hanging them up or sitting them up or something, you know, to spray them, which is better and easier than this. So yeah, I'll have to try and devise something. Actually, ideally like a stand with a pole on it with a bead hoop and a couple of like tongues out off it, so you could just sort of sit the bender on there. You know what I mean? Like a bead hoop like that with 2 or 3 bits of bar at it, like with some foam on it, so you could actually sit them on and they'll just sit there, and you can get right around them. That would like sort of sit in this sort of area, and I have a couple of tongues out so they won't flop over. Would be ideal, but I don't have anything. I could, you know, you can make something, but I don't have it handy at the moment. And we're getting close to the wrong time of year for getting stuff. But anyway, I'll manage. We'll sort something out. I think probably the rope and the ratchet strap might be the idea, and just wire them up. I've got plenty of wire here and crap that I can just hang it off, sort something out. Anyway, catch you later on.